going on, everybody? It's your boy Pitts, Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, coming to you live. Listen, it's going down, all things HBCUs. And who else better to start it off with them Bowie State Bulldogs? We coming to you, Bowie State Bulldogs, total access. We got the Morgan State Bears. Listen, all HBCUs information, all HBCU news, sporting events, updates. You get it live here with Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, Comcast Channel 77, Verizon Channel 11 is going down. Don't you miss a beat. Listen, it's only the beginning because it's early still. And we're gonna be here all day. All day. What's going on, everybody? Y'all know what it is, man. It's your boy Pitt Sports Zone, coming to you on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Welcome. Today is the first of many. We're talking Faith on the Yard, a conversation with HBCU chaplains. And today we are indeed blessed to have my guy, Mr. Frank Burton Jr., athletic chaplain for Dale State University. How you doing today, man?
Pitts, man, it is a pleasure to be on with you, man. Thank you for taking out the time to do this. It is so well needed because a lot of people don't know what chaplains do. But I love the intro, man. I was just vibing off the intro, and I was laughing because I looked and, that old association with Bowie State, and then I just started thinking about when I was back in school. I still have a record that stands today in baseball against Bowie State. 8 stolen bases in one game. We're gonna have to talk about that.
Oh, we're gonna talk. We're gonna have to talk about that. And before we move forward, again, appreciate everybody for joining us on this Friday. If you can lend us your ear for a good 20 minutes, and you can hear more in depth, more about Mr. Frank Burton Jr., but also about the role and responsibilities of chaplains as it pertains to our prestigious HBCUs. So welcome to the very first episode of Faith on the Yard, a new series where we go beyond the scoreboard to highlight the men and women who are making the impact in HBCU athletics through faith, leadership, and service. Today, I'm honored, as you know, to be joined by Mr. Frank Burton Jr., and he is, again, the athletics chaplain at Delaware State University. While fans see the touchdowns, championships, and celebrations, there is someone working behind the scenes, providing spiritual guidance, encouragement, and hope to student athletes, coaches, and staff every single day. Chaplain Burton, thank you for taking this time to join us. It's a pleasure to have you as the first guest on Faith on the Yard with Pitt Sports Zone.
Thank you for having me, Big T. I appreciate you, brother.
So let's go ahead and do a couple of icebreakers, right? I'm gonna switch it up for you. Your icebreakers are going to be different than what I'm usually doing.
Okay.
When it pertains to the students, right? So, what is one of your favorite gospel artists? Who is one of your favorite gospel artists?
Right now, I am listening to Jason and Jonathan Nelson. I love to listen to their songs, man. They take me there. Hold on. But I got my favorite right now. I got to say this because I'm talking to some Maryland boys. My favorite is Marette Brown Clark. She's a great friend of mine. I've known Marette for about 24 years.
Okay. So for me, I love Maverick City. Love Kirk Franklin. I think for me, I love worship music.
Yes.
Something that there's a song by Maverick City and Kirk Franklin called Kingdom. The one I use actually.
I love it.
That song is one of the songs, even every time I need to go into a secret place, that's one of the songs. And then Constant, in addition to William McDowell and JJ, and then, it's so many, but, right now, as you said, all right. So what is one of your dream destinations or a place that you visited that you like to visit?
Well, that's easy. My dream destination, number one, is Africa. Because of Netherlands. So I want to go back to Senegal, around Senegal area where the slaves left out. But then secondly, I want to do a missions trip to the Holy Land and Asia Minor, where the Apostle Paul went, as well as Rome. I just want to be
Yeah,
able to see what the disciples saw, what Jesus saw.
yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I actually just finished a series on Prime called The Chosen.
Wow.
One of my friends put me on it, and I can say I binged it for a good 2 weeks, and now I'm ready for it to kick back in.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
lastly, what is one of the most what is something, if there was one thing that there is a misrepresentation about chaplains in athletics, if there is one, what would that be?
I think the misrepresentation, and I'm glad you have me on to talk about that, is that people are afraid of the word chaplaincy because they associate it with religion or pastor. Um, but one of the misrepresentations is that we come in to preach to somebody, to convert somebody, to make somebody think the way that we are, the way that we think. And
Yeah,
what we do as chaplains, we're non-denominational. We don't try to force our beliefs on anybody. I have my strong beliefs in as a Christian, and I'm going to withhold that, but I don't enforce that because we're interdisciplinary. We minister to
yeah,
all faiths, right? And so, but basically, the biggest thing I would say, Big T, is that in all of chaplaincy, in all of ministry, there's a one phrase. It's called the ministry of presence. And
yeah,
that's whether somebody loses a game, that's whether somebody loses a loved one, that's whether somebody's having a bad time. Sometime as a chaplain, if I'm just present, sometimes I don't even need to say a word. Just my presence being there with them means a million.
comfort,
Yes, yes, sir.
comfort. If you can, and I appreciate you for the icebreakers, we'll go ahead and jump right into the questions that I prepared for you. And I seen that you were on my guy show, HBCU Originals. Shout out to my guy.
Big
Shout
Vince. Big Vince.
out to my
You
guy
know?
Vince, man. And it was crazy because I didn't know that you were on that show too. So it's
Mhm.
just ironic how it all works out. And especially somebody that I have a high regard for and the work that he do. Every time I see him at an HBCU campus, is a great guy. So again, shout out to Vince, man. But if you can briefly tell us about your journey, right? Tell us, who is Mr. Frank Burton Jr. beyond the title of chaplain?
Yeah. As I said before, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I've been a coach. And I am really a spiritual coach to many. At many, started out at University of Delaware. I actually started out in high schools, my kids' high schools, and then University of Delaware as a chaplain, which is a PWI.
Yeah.
And when my boys went away to play football, one went to Ball State University in Indiana.
Hmm.
Got involved in some stuff out there with those young men over there. And my baby son went to University of Virginia. Um,
Yeah.
Actually, you talking about chaplaincy and if it's needed or not. A lot of people stay away from it. Nah, we don't want to chat. We don't want. But when stuff goes down, it's almost like being a negotiator as an FBI agent. When stuff goes down, you're right
Mm.
there. I remember in 2017, my baby son, my youngest son, got a full scholarship to University of Virginia, and in his first summer there, August 12th, I never forget it. Woke up in the morning, turned on the television. Ku Klux Klan was marching on their campus. I looked
Mm.
at my wife. I said, I don't know about you, but I'm gone. Got locked
Yeah.
and loaded, went down there. They closed down the whole campus. You couldn't get on the campus. They had moved the kids to athletic facilities and wouldn't let anybody in. Went down there with my wife, talked to the security guard, told them who I was, retired FBI agent. They let me in, and the coaches actually appreciated. I got a chance to minister to the team at that point. So when they really needed it, it was
Yeah.
there. So a misconception is we're there to try to convert people or to preach to people. I'm just there to be a support to the students.
Yeah. And with that, and I appreciate that, because everybody is, you're a football team is a group of individuals with different personalities, different characteristics, different backgrounds, different beliefs, different things and places and system that they regard to. How do you how do you how do you earn their trust, right? In these moments, because like you said, a lot of people think, oh, you're trying to you're trying to put me in this box of, however they want to see it, Christianity or whatever it is. How do you earn the trust of the players and the staff, during those moments?
Yeah. The first thing you have to do is you have to be relative when you come there. And being relative is you have to be, you're talking about building rapport. You have to be reachable, but you also have to be transparent, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that most chaplains, athletic chaplains will tell you, and there's another misnomer that people don't know. A lot of us have played, right, sports and at high levels and have done some things. But coming back to school and chaplaincy to be able to minister to these young players, it ain't about what you did. It's not about what that you're there. I don't go there talking about I'm in a Hall of Fame for baseball and football. And when we did, nah, I'm there to say, listen, I hear what you're saying about your difficulties and your frustrations about not winning Delaware State in all these years.
Yeah.
But let me help you out, because not about my accolades, but I was on a team like this. I was on a team at Delaware State University that lost 105-0 to Portland State. Neil Lomax in 1980, who ended up playing for the Cardinals. My first year coming into Del State, that's what I'm coming into. Right?
Wait, this was a baseball game?
No, this was football.
Oh, a football game, 105.
Go back and look at it. 1980, Portland State, Delaware State University, Neil Lomax. He beats Delaware State. And we're the laughing stock. It's on ESPN. I see this on ESPN. And so I can relate to the kids' frustration about not winning, being a laughing stock, but being intuitive enough to have the fortitude to stick in there and work hard and change the whole program around in 3 years. In 3 years. By 5 years, we won the championship.
Wow. Okay, so before we delve deeper, if you can, just explain some of the roles and responsibilities.
Well,
of a chaplain.
No, I'm sorry. You said a lot of it when you were introducing me. It is to provide spiritual guidance to the players, to the coaches, to the staff, to the students. I'm also a campus chaplain as well. So we do baptisms, we do Bible studies. I've done weddings. Whenever somebody needs just spiritual guidance or spiritual support, that's what we do. You think about it, you name it, we do it.
Has the role evolved, right? Because I think we're walking into a time where now, back when I was younger, young men didn't express, mental health. They didn't express that we weren't taught to be vulnerable, right? And now you're walking into a sport or sports where the pressure is higher, the expectations are win now, right? You have NIL opportunities, you have injuries, and then you throw in the mental health challenges. How do you navigate reaching, because you have so many different athletic programs, right? How do you navigate and those moments of, when and how without stretching yourself thin? Because one, not being biblical, but you're pouring into, so I imagine there's somebody pouring back into you in order for you to pour back into the student athletes.
Yeah, you cannot pour from an empty well. That's the biblical precedent, and you have to have somewhere to get refilled. I have a mentor, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. His name is Rick, and he is amazing at what he does. He comes and he fills me up. I meet with him once a month just to get spiritually tuned up, is what it is. But the thing is, you have to be a good listener. You have to know how to set boundaries too, because you're talking about a university that has maybe over 18 different sports, right? So naturally, I'm not going to go to every sport, but you got to pick and choose what sports need you. You offer your assistance, right? You don't go where you're not needed. That's a whole nother biblical precedent. If they don't accept you, wipe the dust off your feet, because some people just don't want to deal. You say chaplain, they say no. You say, okay, if you need me, I'm here. So you go to the ones who express interest, But you have to be a great listener in anything. When I was in the FBI, I was a hostage negotiator as well. If you can't listen, then you can't build rapport. And if you can't build rapport, then you can't build trust. And if you can't build trust, you can't build behavioral change. And that's what it's all about. So there are steps and there are processes that I've taken from my professional career into the pastorate, right? That work from my athletic career to my professional career. So those are some of the things that you have to be able to do. You got to be able to listen, man. Because if I'm talking to you and while you're talking, I'm thinking about my answer, you're not going to talk to me later on because you're like, man, you ain't even heard nothing I said. All you doing is thinking about what you're going to say. I'm responding to answer instead of listening.
Absolutely. And I like something you said, you know, rapport equals to trust, and trust equals to behavioral changes, or it leads to changes, not necessarily behavioral, because it can be mental changes, physical, spiritual, psychological changes. So I'll just say it leads to changes. I'm sure that has to be, you know, a gratifying moment, right? Especially in a moment where it appears that the word is, and I look at this too, like, it's the word that's being rejected, not you, right? Until that rapport and that trust is established. How do you encourage athletes to keep their identity rooted in something greater than wins, losses, and statistics?
So what I've done since I've been a chaplain in 2020 at the University of Delaware, then at Delaware State, and as what they call a character coach at Wilmington University, is I keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is simply this. And this is what I tell everybody, and I've gone through myself and I've gone through with my sons as well, is one day, Big T, this game's going to be over, right? Yeah. You get 5 years to play 4, right? Yeah. And if you're blessed and you can do 2 sports, then you can do that as well. Yeah. But one day this game is going to be over. And if all you are is a football player, a basketball player, a baseball player, run track, a cheerleader, and that's all you are, when it's over, you're going to crash. You're going to get depressed. You're going to go. There are a lot of athletes that I know have checked up out of here because their identity has been rooted in I am a football player. But the way that I keep these students grounded is from the jump. I say, listen, I'm not here about I love, listen, don't get it twisted. I'm competitive. I hate to lose. I still hate to lose in anything, right? I'm mad competitive. But I'm not here for wins or losses. I'm here to teach you about the game plan for life because I'm on the other side of that coin. And I can talk to you about experience, about hard times. I can talk to you about being depressed, that once your career is over in college, there's no more practices. There's no more structure. Every day you're used to doing. Now, what do? Now you get depressed. Now you might get off into some drugs. Now you might get off into alcohol. Now you might get off into sex. Now you might get off into crime because you don't know what to do with yourself. I can bring you back and I can tell you, not preaching at you, I can tell you, I'm a visual pastor. I'm like my big brother, Jesus Christ. I'll give you examples and metaphors for days. I'll give you parables for days. So that's how I keep them focused.
Being vulnerable, a lot of the people that follow my show have heard me say this before. Those who are new to the show have not. I know exactly what you mean when you talk about your identity being rooted in this sport. And, you know, for me personally, I definitely crashed out because I was a 2-sport athlete. I played football and baseball. And my 11th grade year, I was struck by lightning. And I could never play football again. Doctor told me that physical contact, physical sports was no longer in my purview. Give it up. You know, if you do it, it's paralysis or death. That was hard for me, right? Because as a competitor and the love that I have for football, I couldn't. I even tried I forged my doctor's signature on a document just to go back out and practice till my dad realized I was out there. He thought I was just out there in a supportive way. So then, you know, I loved football. I was better in baseball. So I just put all my focus to baseball. I got Anaheim Angel. I got opportunities and walk-ons from the Anaheim Angels and the Atlanta Braves straight out of high school. Got injured at both tryouts. Never had another opportunity. Well, that year I was going to Bowie State. Couldn't play football. I was devastated about it. So I said, okay, I'm gonna play baseball. Fall year, freshman year, baseball season gets canceled. Right? They bring on a golf team. Now at this point, when you talk about a crash out, I was so conditioned to doing the necessary work in order for me to participate in the things that I loved. It wasn't in me to do it just because I needed to do it. Right. It was in me to do it because I knew that in order for me to do this, I have to succeed and I have to excel at that. Yeah. So when baseball got taken away, I literally lost all hope. Like, I didn't have a care in the world. Okay. I started getting in legal trouble. Yeah. And it was one time, the only time I've ever been in a legal, situation where I had to get sat down. It was one day in the county jail back home in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And I said, man, I have never come back, ever. They slid that food in there. Yeah. My bunkmate said, that's your food. I said, that ain't mine, that's the county's. Yes. Ever since then, I've never looked back. I moved back here, and, I was able to, gracefully, I was able to bounce back and get on a level course. It took longer than expected, but at the same time, man, I understand when you talk about the crash out and being rooted into a sport, because we live, and as youngsters, we're told how good we are, right? And we're told, and coming from Pittsburgh and coming from that poverty-ish area and gang affiliated, it's only three things you can do, right? You can leave, go to school, right? You can play sports, or you stay home and you hustle, you gang bang, or you sell drugs. Yeah. And for me, my crash out moment came then. So I'm grateful because not everybody has the opportunity of a bounce back. Some crash outs lead to death or a long prison sentence or anything like that. So just in that regard, when you talked about whether it's a stress, whether it's getting that confidence back, in today's world, it's changed a lot as well, right? Because there's so much happening around us that we can't control, especially when it pertains to violence on HBCU campuses. Yeah. How do you support grieving students, athletes, and coaches, or how do you prepare yourself spiritually for those conversations and those events?
Yeah, it's based on your experience, based on your. So think about this, Big T. Every athlete, 5 years to play 4 in college. At some point in your college career, somebody's going to pass that you love, right? And whether you stay home in the state to go to school, whether you go a state over or 5 states over, somebody's going to pass. And so what you have to do is, you got to be locked in when you play a sport. You understand it. When you play a sport in college, you got to be locked in. You locked into your sport. You locked into education. But then here comes a whole nother ingredient about grief. So how do I prepare for it? Based on my own experience. When I was a sophomore, my grandfather died when I was in college. You know what I mean? I've lost a lot of people in my life. And so basically what you have to do is you got to, your own experience, you got to stop and think about what are some of the things that comforted me in those times. It's not some pastor coming to me, preaching me some word. And Matthew 5, verse 4 says, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. And don't worry about it, because she's in a better. Man, I don't feel like hearing none of that. Yeah. Miss me with all of that right now. You know what I mean? No disrespect, but miss me with all of that. Yeah. What are you going to do for me? I'm grieving. Yeah. Sometimes I stand right by them. What do you need? Do you need me to pray? Nah, man, I don't feel like, okay. So what do you need? Just be here. You need me to, spirit, ministry of presence. Do you need me to go out and get you anything? Can I bring you anything? And then being consistent. Not one of those one-off dudes. Like, I'm the chaplain, so okay, Pitts, family member died, call Pitts. Hey, Pitts, how you doing? This Apostle Frank, this chaplain Frank, how you doing? And you never hear from me again. Nah, I'm checking up with you the next day.
Yeah.
I'm checking out with you the next week to let you know that I'm here, right? And those are the things that people don't understand that chaplains do. I'm looking at for all of the people who want to participate in the sports, coaches and players. I'm asking every single day whether I'm on campus or not. Everybody good?
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all need? And if you tell me, I can address it.
If you can, what is one lesson that the athletes have taught you?
The athletes have taught me, especially in today's athletes, when you get old, and I remember my daddy and them used to do this. Back when I was playing, we didn't. That commercial, I get it. I'm my father
Oh,
now
man.
because I'm looking at these kids, and on the surface, when you first look, I'm gonna keep it 100. When you first look at these athletes, because I've been a coach, it's like you start, man, these are some of the most disrespectful, unappreciative young men and women. But then you got to stop and think. They didn't come up like I came up.
Absolutely.
They didn't come up with a mom and dad, and the dad was there every game supporting me, and the mom was always there. They come up under some tough times. So one of the things that the kids have taught me is just like ministry, man. Whether you a drug addict, an alcoholic, or somebody you can't see, somebody that's stuck on pornography, or homosexual, whether you can see it or not, they're all the same, man. They're all kids that got a heart and they just want to be loved and heard. That's what they've taught me. Just listen to them. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what kind of gruff I do. You talking about the hood? I'm from the hood. You can give me all the you can do all of that. You don't scare me. And it's taught me to say, it's taught me, I don't care if you come from Hollywood or Beverly Hills. I could talk to my wife said, Frank, the gift that God has given you, you can talk to anybody. If God put you on Mars, you'll talk to a Martian, right? But you got to be able to see people for who they are, right?
Absolutely.
And understand that they're all people are people. They just want to be heard, number one, and they want to be loved or appreciated.
If you can describe what Dale State athletics mean to you in one word, what would it be?
Everything. That's my one word. Everything.
A fun fact is, I of course I knew about Dale State's existence, but what really got me covering and coming out to Dale State was Naima, but Nemo Washington. My God, a lot of people don't know that we've been going to church since Naima was a baby. Like I remember when Naima was him and his brother, his sister. Like I know the entire family. When I tell you they were babies, like babies. And my dad, because I was off getting in trouble, and my dad would always go to his football games at Bowie State. He always come back and tell me how Nemo did, and it's funny how full circle life come around. So it was personal for me, especially supporting one of my brothers, somebody that I've known and grew up with. So that's my fun fact that a lot of people don't know. The connection that I really have is that I admire everything that Nemo has done from a player and a coach standpoint. But I appreciate you because from the very first day that I met you, right? I met you at the and we didn't even really meet like that. It was, I want to say it was the Philadelphia Eagles game when y'all played against Norfolk State.
It was before that. It was before that, but you were covering the game and we chatted a little bit, but we really.
Oh, wait. You know what? Y'all very first game against Delaware.
Yes. Yep.
The opening game against Delaware. You're right. Yes, you're right. But it really took on, and I appreciate you because you welcomed me with open arms, and you have a calming spirit, and I appreciate even the check-ins that you do with me. Not even the check-ins, but the constant support that you've given me throughout this journey. So I personally thank you for all that you've done and the support that you've given me as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I want to say one thing what you were saying about Nemo is when you're out in Pittsburgh, I'm up here in Wilmington, Philadelphia, Chester, whatever. And one of the phrases on the street is game recognized game. right?
Oh yeah.
Game recognize game. I'm gonna tell you this: spirit recognize spirit. Because I'm gonna tell you, I instantly, when I came down Dell State, connected with him, Nemo, in the spirit. And like,
Yeah.
we don't talk a lot about a lot of different things, but I call him this is my phrase for him. I call him beautiful mind. Because this guy, the things he thinks of on offense is ridiculous, right? So it's always like that mad respect. And like you, my man Vince, all of those, when somebody in a way, you just know it, right? And it's the same way with these kids. But like I said before, you gotta get the best out of all kids, right?
Yeah.
You got to get the best out of all kids. But spirit recognize spirit, man. I could tell y'all was tapped in when I met y'all.
Nah, man. And I appreciate you. This is the first meeting. We're definitely going to have you on again. This is,
Okay.
I appreciate you bringing that idea, and I want to open this up for other chaplains, for other universities. Specifically, I'm sorry, but I really want to tap in the HBCUs first because that is my platform. My platform is the exposure of all things HBCUs. I don't cut off, so if someone reach out, I'm not going to tell you no. But I definitely want to check in with other chaplains, and I want to give them the love too because it takes a well-oiled collective group to make it all functioning. You guys are an important part of that functionality. So thank you again for joining me
Thank
today
you.
on Pittsburgh Zone, man.
Thank you.